When you plan a trip to Canada, the instinct is to grab a generic top 10 list and try to check off every single box. You want to see the mountains, the French architecture, and the coastlines in one go. But Canada's physical geography makes that impossible. The country is split by massive natural barriers, entire mountain ranges and sprawling plains that physically divide the regions from one another. Here are the 10 most popular destinations, plotted with the continental US overlaid for scale. The premier spots are split between the coasts, separated by 2,000 miles. Squeezing both into 1 week means flying back and forth, burning your budget in airports. To fix this, we need to ditch the checklist and use a strategy I call the scenario match. This means dividing the map and picking a specific region based on exactly what kind of traveler you are. If you want a high return on investment vacation without the logistical burnout, you have to choose between the physical scale of the country and the reality of your travel schedule. Let's start out west with the Rocky Mountains. This is the region for travelers who prioritize raw, untamed wilderness over cosmopolitan convenience. Committing to this area requires a specific logistical input. You must rent a vehicle and drive the remote Icefields Parkway to connect the two major hubs, Banff and Jasper. Establishing infrastructure out here required massive physical effort, leaving historical landmarks completely isolated against the steep, snowy interior. The payoff for that drive is unparalleled access to pristine alpine scenery. You get glacial lakes and dense wildlife right out your car window. The trade-off is financial. You face extremely high daily costs for both lodging and vehicle rentals, and you will be competing with heavy crowds in Banff during the peak summer months. To maximize the value of this route, you also need the physical mobility and stamina to hike away from the parking lots and actually get into the backcountry. The Rockies offer the highest natural reward of any Canadian region, but they exact the absolute highest financial and logistical toll to access. If you want to balance urban amenities with outdoor access, you look to the British Columbia coast, encompassing Vancouver, Whistler, and Vancouver Island. Vancouver holds a unique geographical advantage. Dense urban infrastructure sits directly on the water, with massive mountain ranges looming right behind the city. You get access to Tier 1 urban dining and culture while easily taking short trips up into Whistler's alpine environments. That convenience has an immediate financial impact. Vancouver is notoriously expensive, maximizing your daily budget burn rate. Adding Vancouver Island to the trip introduces friction. The ferry system requires strict advanced planning and consumes a significant block of your transit time. Experiencing the island, the city, and the mountains properly requires dedicating at least a full week solely to this single province. The BC coast offers the most perfectly balanced itinerary, but it charges a steep premium price for the convenience of skipping domestic cross-country flights. Shifting 2,000 miles east, the Ontario-Quebec corridor is built on human history, architecture, and food rather than raw wilderness. The core logistical advantage here is transit. You can use the Via Rail train network to seamlessly connect Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City without ever renting a car. The result is a dense, European-style historical experience defined by centuries-old architecture and deep culinary roots. On the western edge, Toronto serves as the modern industrial anchor of this circuit, driven by rapid infrastructure development. Moving east, Montreal acts as the cultural bridge of the corridor, with a history of massive mid-century international development. The trade-off for this circuit is sacrificing those famous mountain vistas and facing brutal cold weather endurance tests if you travel in the winter. If you still need a major natural landmark, Niagara Falls acts as a micro-trip you can easily bolt on to your Toronto stay. You check off a bucket list natural wonder, but you navigate a highly commercialized, historically crowded tourist environment to do it. The East Coast guarantees high cultural density and low transit stress, making it ideal if you prioritize convenience over pristine natural isolation. Successfully planning a Canadian vacation requires formally aligning your itinerary with your budget and effort threshold. This chart maps our 10 source locations against 2 strict metrics. The vertical axis measures logistical effort and cost, from low to high. Look at these clusters. Pick exactly one of them and commit your entire time budget. Ignoring the fear of missing out on generic top 10 lists and strictly optimizing for a single geographically sound region is the only mathematical way to conquer Canada's massive scale.